This body knows exactly how to drop in once these other distractions are removed. And then, and this is only something I can tell you about, you must experience it yourself, only then can I hear the wisdom of everything around me and within me. Freshly back from another adventure out into the wilderness, leading another group of men to and from the threshold of Compass. And I've got some really powerful reflections that I wanted to share. You see, I'm reminded every time that I have such a wonderful fortune to be able to go out and lead men in these rites of passage ceremonies. And every time I go out into the wilderness, 3 weeks out of the year, almost a whole month of my life, every solar cycle, I get to sleep out under the stars. I get to sit around fires. I get to slow way down to the speed of the forest, of the desert, of the mountain. And I realize this time just how privileged I am to be in that space. And having done this for years now, I see myself starting to take it for granted. Not take it for granted, because I don't. I really respect and appreciate this process. But how easily I forget, how easily I can be disassociated from the intelligence of a slower pace. The moment that I step back into the civilized world, the moment that we get back in our cars and we hit the road and phones come on, they go off airplane mode, and all of a sudden the flood of information comes pouring in. There's a speed that exists out in the middle of nowhere where the rest of life around us operates from. You see, nature is not in a rush. It's not in a hurry. There's no urgency. There's no hastiness when it comes to trees growing and stretching their leaves towards the sun. There's no swiftness that goes along with an ant carrying food back to the anthill, the colony. There's just a natural rhythm and order to the world of nature, the natural environment, basically every other life form on this planet besides humans. And it seems so obvious to me when I'm out there, but it's so easy to forget when I come back into my life, back to my responsibilities, my commitments, taking kids from school to karate, to this, to that, making time to be with my wife and go out on a date, and responding to emails and telegrams and recording podcasts, that all of a sudden the gears speed up very quickly. To this point, we've brought 85 men to and from the threshold in Compass. And every single time, every single one of those men reflects on how slowly time moves when we're out in the middle of nowhere. When was the last time you sat in nature, turned the phone off, put everything else down, you went by yourself, and you just noticed how the sun moves for an entire day? When was the last time that you did that? When we go out into the desert, when we go out into the forest, the mountains, wherever we are for Compass, noticing how slow a day goes by when all of the other things we have to fill our day are removed. It's an incredibly valuable experience. In fact, it's a priceless experience. Just to see, just to remember, if even for a few days, that life all around us is moving at a completely different pace than we do. And that pace that we're moving at is destroying us. Yes, that pace is also responsible for some incredible innovations that we've witnessed in less and less time. What we used to be able to achieve over thousands of years now happens in a span of a decade, sometimes even less. But the cost of that is so insidious. And I observed it in myself. I observe how I start to feel once I put everything here down. And I start to calibrate my body and my mind and my soul to the speed and rhythm of nature around me. It's relieving. I don't worry about my rent. I don't worry about my credit card bills. I don't worry about the emails that I didn't get around to, because there's a safety and a certainty that I experience when I'm moving and operating at the speed of everything else around me. All other life around me wants to move at a very deliberate pace and speed. And every single man that I've ever witnessed join us for Compass, spend time out in the wilderness, take away all the other distractions, they recognize immediately within the first 24 hours that this body responds differently out there. This body knows exactly how to drop in once these other distractions are removed. And then, and this is only something I can tell you about, you must experience it yourself, only then can I hear the wisdom of everything around me and within me. I can't hear it when I'm listening to life at 10x speed. I can't hear what the voice of wisdom inside of me is trying to say when I've got 30,000 other radio stations blasting at the same time. Yes, it's a commitment to go and spend time alone out in the wilderness. Yes, it requires discipline and determination to put the phones down, to unplug from the rest of society, even for a week. But when was the last time you did that for yourself? When did you really do that? Not just go out for a day or 2 or 3 into the wilderness, but leave your phone behind. Leave a book behind. Take away all the other subtle ways that we can distract ourselves and just pause, sit, listen, and observe. Even those of you who think that you've done that, I challenge you, I really challenge you. When was the last time you gave yourself that full gift to slow down, to pause, and listen? All the other radio stations off. The volume on this one turned up. It's a gift like no other. Yes, it requires a sacrifice. Yes, you got to go and you got to be willing and determined to spend that length of time and to tolerate being in that. What do? A body that only knows how to be and stay in motion, disciplined to be still. What you hear, what you learn, what I learn every time I go back out into the pace and surrender to that rhythm and speed of nature, I come back different, informed, enlightened. But you gotta be willing to go out there. You gotta be willing to go to those levels and depths within yourself, because it's uncomfortable. It's an ego death like no other to surrender to the speed of wisdom and the wisdom of nature. There's something out there for you. And if you're willing and you have the courage and you have the internal drive to discover what that is, then come find us. You know where to find us. risingman.org/compass. Apply right now. Get yourself that opportunity. Commit. Say yes to it. Even if it scares you, jump in. Or whatever that looks like for you. Find a way to give yourself that gift of stillness, of calm, of listening. Because until you do, you have no idea what you're missing. So do it. Tell a friend about it. Bring a friend along with you. We've got a whole generation of men to initiate, and we're not going to stop until we're done. So get after it. Take action. And make sure you come back for another episode of Monday Morning Meditations next week, right here on the Rising Man Podcast.